Food markets only.
Meet Susie Smart, she is so bright. On her blackboard you can write. She has a desk, she has a seat. What's your name, my dolly sweet?
My name is Susie Smart.
She can talk!
She can talk, but can she add?
2 plus 2 is 4. Cat, C-A-T.
You can spell!
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how
You recite!
Press the button, she says a dozen things, complete with desk, blackboard, and seat. Susie Smart, sold at food markets only.
What's this stuff? Some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Well, let me know if I have sound, people. I do not know. I am on my phone because it is raining cats and kittens and pups and pooches, and I don't want the power to go off on my new computer, my newer computer. It's not new anymore. Uh, so let me know if I have sound, because M3 won't tell me anything. He's a stinker. So I'm just going to sit here. That's why I started early, because I needed to do a sound check on the phone. And there's William E. So far, nobody has let me know if I have sound, so I don't know if I do or not. Okay, William says he can hear me. That's a good thing. Oh, so welcome to the Lodo Coin Collecting Show, which really doesn't even have any coins tonight. I just had an adventure. Oh boy, did I have an adventure. This one might affect people all across the country. It involves an automotive insurance company. Uh, since I still don't have any help, there, let's try it again. Anyway, I had an adventure. Since I don't have any helpers, yeah, I don't have my house cleaning people or my nurse or my PT or anybody that runs errands for me. I was kind of forced into taking my car today, which my car is not very trustworthy, but I figured, I could get a couple miles out of her. Well, I went in the grocery store, did that. Then I was going to go like less than a mile up the street, and get my medication, and come home. Except that when I came out of the grocery store, the car didn't want to start. My battery was dead, and I do not know why. But not only that, but right before it shut off, the steering locked up, which sometimes all of those things that are programmed in, if your battery goes dead, it'll mess up some of the programming. So I'm like, okay, it's raining, by the way. So I'm going to have to call somebody and have them come down and give me a jump start. And if that doesn't work, they gonna have to tow my car the 2 miles home. So I get out my insurance card. I have never used the roadside assistance on this particular insurance before. So I get out the card and I call him up, get this lovely gentleman on the phone. Oh, we'll have somebody call you back within 15 minutes, let you know who your service is going to be, and we'll get you jumped and blah, 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 blah. So 15, 20 minutes goes by, nothing happens. Finally, this phone call comes in, and I normally would not have answered it, but I've got a couple friends that live in Tennessee, one of whom had told me he was going to call me this week, and I don't know where his cell phone's from. So when I saw it was a Tennessee number, I thought it was my friend, and so I answered it. Well, when I answered it, it was this lady from the automotive insurance company, actually from the company that provides road service dispatching for this insurance company. Now, I've been paying this road service every month for a year and a half or so. And then this lady tells me that they do not actually have any towing services or road service companies operating in the area that I am living in. So they cannot dispatch anyone for me. And what I'm going to need to do is to find a wrecker service on my own, have them come out, jump the car or tow the car, as the case may be, pay this company cash, get a copy of the bill, send it to the insurance company, and then the insurance company will decide if they are going to reimburse me or not. Now, think about that for a minute. I've been paying for road service for a year and a half. And then they tell me, oh, well, we don't actually provide road service in that area. And you're going to have to find your own wrecker, pay your own wrecker, and then try to get the money back from the insurance company. And I'm like, okay. So what you're telling me is I've been giving you money for this for a year and a half, and you're going to leave a 70-year-old disabled woman sitting on the side of the road down here by the grocery store because you really don't have any service for me. And she says, well, you can pay for it out of your pocket. I said, lady, I'm on social insecurity. I got $12 in my purse, and that's the money for the co-payment for my medication. You have got to be kidding. How can you even do that? That is fraud. And I told her, I said, you know, don't you think it might have been when you were selling the policies that it might have been prudent to tell people that are buying full coverage policies that they're not actually going to get some of these services, that you're just charging them for them, but when it comes time to use them, they don't exist. And so I'm sitting there going, well, now what the am I going to do? I'm kind of stuck out here. So I'd been out at this point, I've been out there a couple hours, and it was 48, 49 degrees, raining, cold, nasty, and I'm sick. So I'm not in the mood for it. And so I hung up and I called my agent, and he gave me the same song and dance. Uh, so I went on we have a page for the local comings and goings of things that are going on in our town. And so I went on there because I thought I know a lot of people that have this particular insurance. And so I just went on there and said, well, here's my story. I'm sitting out in front of so and so store by the edge of the parking lot, broken down. And I called my insurance for record service and found out that they've been charging me for it for a year and a half. But when you call and try to get it, it does not exist in this area. So if you are using XYZ insurance, and you are being charged for roadside assistance, you might want to join AAA or something, because you're not going to get it from the insurance company. This is what the insurance company is going to tell you to do. Well, this thing has kind of gone viral, and it's going viral. In like 3 hours, there were over 200 posts about it. But one of the things that happened was a lady saw that post, and her husband is an auto mechanic, and she posted to him, hey, can you run by and see if you can help this lady out? So he comes by, and he's got one of those fancy schmancy things that you can jump cars with, that you don't have to have the jumper cables and all that. So he put my car on that, and we got it started right up, but my steering wheel was locked, and he knew how to fix that with a few little tweaks. And it's part of the electronics thing. It's got to do with the code for the ignition. So he just went in and reset the code. And so then that was fine. And I was so happy that this guy's wife was kind enough to send him over there. And I told him, about the coolant issue, and that I had been told by a couple of different mechanics that the head gasket was leaking, and that we'd put stop leak in, and we'd done this and we'd done that. And he just casually looks over at this one area that I thought was where the leak was coming from, which is not really where the head gasket would be leaking. And he just casually looks over at me and he goes, your water pump's leaking. So anyway, he got me going, and they followed me back to my house to make sure I got home okay. And I went on there and just thoroughly thanked that gentleman, because yeah, it was just unbelievable. Hi, Jackalope. Let me say hi to everybody that's been in here. Linda Wallace, New Marshall in town, William E., Jackalope, Herd Master. Yeah, Jackalope, what they were saying is pay for it yourself, and maybe we'll reimburse you. Yeah, well, that was me. WTF. You got to be kidding me. So anyway, I did not make it to the bank. I had planned on going in that store and grabbing something I needed for dinner, and then like a quarter of a mile up the road, getting my prescription. Then I was going to go through the bank and rather than go all the way to the car wash, I was going to go to the bank and get some pennies because I got this thing I want to do with pennies. And then I was going to go by the post office because I made a killer sale on eBay. As some of you know, I have started selling off some of my old 60s garage band records and a band of guys I knew from Tampa back in the day. Only one of them is even still alive. But anyway, I had a copy of one of their singles, and I looked, I mean, under all of the reputable places to get prices for these 45s based on the condition and so forth. And I could not even find this record. Now I just reached in the box and pulled it out. It was a random pull. And so I wrote it up and I put it up there thinking, well, this thing is going to sit here for a while. But I had told my friend Susan, I said, I'm going to put an outrageous price on this thing because I have no idea what it's worth. And I can always keep dropping the price until I hit somebody that is willing to pay what I got it priced. So I priced this thing at $195.50. I told her I'm not going to price it over 200. So we just were joking around. No, $196.50. That's what it was. And the thing sold full price in an hour. In an hour. So the other thing was I was going to mail this lady that bought the record her record and see if my package from North Carolina was in the box. But I didn't get to do any of those things. So tomorrow I'm going to have to brave the foot-eating bus. And I am not looking forward to that. I am terrified of riding that bus now. So I've got a couple more records that I listed up there, but these I actually found prices on, and they're not as rare, but they're still valuable, and they've got people watching them. So I've got a box of about 25 that are really rare. And, but yeah, I was real excited about that. And it turned out that the reason that she bought that record was she had lived in Florida at one time and she knew the one guy in the band that I was closest friends with. So she and I had this common friendship with him, and she had lost track of him decades ago. And she was so happy because I told her, I said, look, he lives in England now and he's the only one left in that band that's still alive. So she got a little bonus because it turned out that I knew him and she knew him. And so anyway, but I was just amazed. I almost fell out of my chair. I used to sell records on eBay, and I don't think I've ever sold one that fast. And it was just the coolest thing. But anyway, so the reason I keep calling that insurance company XYZ is I'm going to do a little research into it because that thread is kind of going viral as people are checking their policies and realizing they've been being ripped off. Now imagine if you take all the rural areas that a major auto insurance company is selling in, and they are charging people $80 a year or whatever it is for the roadside service that they are not providing. In all these rural areas, they must be charging hundreds and thousands of people for a service they're not even offering. And you don't find out until you call and try to use it. That is like a major consumer fraud that could theoretically either start a big class action suit where they'd have to pay back all those people they've ripped off for all that money, or it could shut them down. So I have a friend who is a 3-time Emmy Award winning investor. Oh, I keep hitting my sound. I don't know about the rest of the world, but that just sounds like a lot of money to me and want it back. And I think a lot of other people, because I think how the game works is they do that in the areas, the rural areas. I'm here. I got messed up. Oh, I'm always messed up. I'm on my phone tonight because we're having some weather issues. But yeah, I'm curious. I have never ever heard of an insurance company doing that or a any kind of roadside service. I mean, I've had AAA. AAA never ever told me anything like that. And I told this guy, I said, look, I said, I've lived in 9 states. I said, every single car I've ever owned, at least once I've had to call roadside service on. And I have never, ever, ever had them call me back and tell me, well, we've been charging you for it, but we don't actually have any providers in your area. So you're going to have to just find a wrecker and pay them out of your pocket, and we might pay you back. Are you freaking serious? Well, I'll tell you, Mr. Metal Detecting NC. Part of what happened to me, I was on my way, I was doing my little errands, but my car decided it wasn't going to let me finish them. And one of my errands was the post office. And I'm assuming you sent that to the P.O. box. And if you did, it's probably sitting in the P.O. box because my car didn't quite get me to the P.O. But I'm going there tomorrow. So I will be able to answer your question then. Now, because of all of this, I did not get to the bank either. And so I really don't have, I had a plan, but my plan is gone. So I really mostly just came on tonight to tell you why my plan is gone. and that was a doozy. And I finally found a container to put all of the scrap metal in. So I'm going to try and get that video for that gift away done tomorrow. The first container I found was too small and I couldn't get all the metal in there. So there wasn't going to be any way for y'all to guess how much stuff there was because I couldn't get it all in there. But I found a good container now that you can see from all sides how much is in there. So I'm going to make that video tomorrow. Get that going, that gift away, and that one will be for a pinpointer. And then I have another one that's a container full of change, and I'll try to get that one done too. See if I can sue the insurance company for my money back. Well, yeah, I've made it very clear to them that they have not heard the end yet because it's a much bigger thing than just my car. How many policies? This is a major auto insurance company. I would say one of the top 4 in the country. So I'm wondering how many other people have fallen victim to the same thing and don't even know it because they've never tried to use their roadside recovery. I would have never known had my car not decided it didn't want to start today. I've been paying into that mess for almost 2 years. Now, there's some people, like there's a lady that used to work here with me that I know she has the same insurance and they have had that company for 20 years. So that means she's been paying in to this roadside recovery program for 20 years and probably have never used it. No, this contest, William, I want to do this contest. I still have pinpointers to give away. And they were donated to the channel to be given away for the metal detecting thing, and I have them to give away. And they don't cost very much to mail. They're pretty lightweight. But I have not weighed the container either. I don't know how much trash is in there. I'm curious to see how much trash I picked up in that 3-month time. And I also, like I said, I have 3 more metal detecting pinpointers to give away. So, what better way to give them away than guess how much trash I used to pick up with my pinpointer. So, yeah, these are just, and then I can throw all the trash away, and I will have um, yeah, spit it out, Sus. I'll have the pinpointers distributed, keeping my end of the deal up. And once I've given those away, there probably won't be any giveaways on my channel until after I get to Michigan, which hopefully is going to be soon. A couple things have happened on that. One, the apartment unit sent out some letters, and the content of the letters was basically it has a little thing on the bottom that you cut off and you send it back in the envelope that they provide you. And it just basically is asking you, do you still want to be on the waiting list for the apartments? And the reason she sent them out is she's been calling a bunch of people and they've either not answered the phone or the numbers are disconnected or whatever. So, to clear the dead wood off the list of people who are actually trying to get in, she sent these papers out, and you have, I think it was 14 days in which to return the slip saying, yes, I'm still interested, or no, I'm not. And of course, I filled mine out and sent it back. Like, it went back out the day after it came in. And I hate to wish that there, somebody screws up, but if people ahead of me either don't fill them out or they fill them out and say they're no longer interested, I'm going to be moving up that list really fast. So I'm still trying to get rid of a lot of stuff. Because I fell last week, I did not get to have my yard sale this past weekend. All the stuff is still in my car, and my car is not particularly trustworthy. So I'm going to try to have a sale this weekend. And then I got a donation, but it was not strictly a donation for the move. It was a donation to help me get by this not having any help, so I can like pay somebody to come and clean my apartment, or I don't need them to sterilize it or anything, but I'm it's bad because I haven't been able to walk, and just a lot of bad stuff happening. So um I think I'm going to rent a truck or an SUV for a day and get everything out of my car so I can sell the car for whatever I can get from the junkyard. And because I do have to empty the car. And I'll just take those things that don't sell over to the local thrift store and donate them, and I can clean out most of the storage at that point, so that when the call comes, I am ready to just start shoving stuff in the truck. And once I get up there, I can set the whole channel up differently with the newer computer, and it's just this place did not really have a space for me to set anything up. It's tiny. So anyway, happened. And then I had something weird happen. I don't know how this happens. I got I made a sale on Facebook Marketplace, and it's paid for, but the problem is the the lady's whole address isn't there. It just has city, state, and zip code. There's no street address, no. So I have sent her a message. Uh, so anyway, I sent her a message and she hasn't answered me. So I sent one to Facebook Marketplace saying, "Hey, look, it's showing she paid, but it's not showing a full address to mail the thing." So it was pretty weird. So anyway, that's just weird. I've never had one where somebody sent me money and they didn't send the address to send them the product. That's a pretty bizarre thing. Anyway, so there's just not a lot of. I couldn't get to where the coins were. I couldn't get to the quarters. I couldn't get to the pennies. And by the time I got done sitting out there in the rain and mess for almost 3 hours, I just, whatever plan I had for a program, uh, I don't really have. So we're going to try it again on Wednesday. But I didn't want to just leave you guys hanging as to why I just didn't go on. So I'm actually going to go to bed early tonight. It That was really stressful because I mean, I didn't know what I was going to do. It's 49, 48, 49 degrees in my car. I was getting cold. It was raining. And here's this woman calling me from Tennessee saying, "Sorry, you're just going to have to sit there." But I think when I scared the guy a little bit at the agency was I told him, I said, "Look, sweetie," I said, "just because I'm poor does not mean that my family is poor. And I have relatives that work at the Pentagon, and they are not the janitors." So he started changing his attitude a little bit, but then he said, "Well, let me talk to my boss and I'll be back with you in a few minutes." And I said, "Yeah, I'm sure you will." And I never heard another word from him because I knew I wasn't going to. Uh, we'll see what tomorrow brings. I'm going to concentrate primarily on getting the guess how much is in this container thing done tomorrow. And I think excuse me. Oh my, I think I'm taking a day off. I am suffering what I'm hearing other people suffering uh Facebook and YouTube burnout. I know a lot of people are feeling the same thing I am, which I don't like that they are, but I'm glad that I heard other people last night on a different stream discussing that they are frustrated because when they started their channels 3 years ago or 4 years ago, they had, 100 people in there, and now they're lucky if they get 10. And that it's not fun. It's kind of a struggle for them. It's an ego bruiser. When you used to have 100 people and now you've got 10 or you've got 5. And that's one of the things that's been happening with me. And I watch some of these other channels and they've got like 150 people in there. And I'm like, how are they doing it? And most of them, it's because it's just gift away after gift away. It's they're basically buying their viewers. But I saw somebody last night that was having uh he was having the same issue where when he started out he had a lot of people, and now he's only getting 4 or 5. And he kind of had called me out about I used to be on his channel, and I quit being on his channel. And I said, well, first of all, you were on my channel before you ever had one, and you quit being on mine. But that's not why I'm not on your channel. In my case, it's because of my health situation. There will be times when I can read what's going on in the stream just fine. Then there are other times where my eye is so bad I can't follow what's going on. And it's not fun for me to be in the stream if I can't see what people are saying. So, thank you, Florida Metal Detecting. I appreciate that because you know how much I love that shirt. And I was just heartbroken when I looked down and saw that big hole. And of course, I wasn't too happy that there was blood coming out of there either. But um, I think what's happened is there's so many people now have channels, and the communities haven't grown in the way that the number of channels have grown. You still got basically the same number of people, but 5 times as many channels. So, it bothers me sometimes when I look up there and I see, like right now, it says I have 2 people. And that's 3. And that's 2 if I count M3. So sometimes you do feel like you're sitting here talking to yourself. But every once in a while, like I think it was a couple of weeks ago, all night I had like maybe 4 or 5 people, and right at the end, all of a sudden I had like 15, 20 people. There, it's just you're competing. I used to have this mental idea that I should not stream at the same time that somebody else I knew was streaming. Well, that's impossible. It's impossible to do that. And if I'm streaming over you, I'm sorry. But I decided I'm going to stream when my time schedule permits. You know, that's all I can do. If people want to watch, they watch. If they don't want to watch, I can't make them. Sometimes it's the content is a little depressing because I am sick, but other times it's pretty funny because I'm sick. It's sick in a different twisted way. Silver Slinky, how you doing? I see you, Slinky. Oh. So anyway, another thing I decided I was going to do was try to limit my shows to an hour. And I'm a little over an hour now. And I need to do that while I get all this stuff packed up and ready to move. And then I've got some other things going on, like the band that I work with out of Michigan, question mark and the Mysterians, are doing shows again. So I'm back to playing wardrobe designer and publicist and stuff like that. And I'm still trying to, uh, like I said, I got to get all this stuff packed up and a lot of it out of here and try to sell as much of it as I can because I got to make sure that I have a couple of months of padding as far as money goes in case there is some snag in my health insurance or there's going to be deposits and things like that. So I have been trying to take on too many things at one time. And so one of the things that I'm going to have to do is limit how much time I put into the show, and I've already been on a little over an hour tonight. So, and since I don't really have an agenda tonight, um I am going to cut this off. And one of the things that I put on my list because I think it's important is every day I need to list at least two of these records since they seem to be selling well. And it takes a while, takes over a half an hour just to list one of them because you got to do the photos and you got to make sure they're clean. You got to sit down, you got to play them, make sure they don't skip or whatever. So uh, I'm going to go and list a couple more. Um, and then I'm going to bed. That's the other thing I discovered that I've been cheating myself of sleep because I have to get up. I have a certain regimen for medications that I have to take. I'm supposed to take them at 7:30, 1:30, and 7:30. Well, what was ending up happening is I was not getting enough sleep. So we have adjusted that. And I wake up at 7 and I take the meds, and then I'm going back to bed until 9 o'clock. And I'm trying to stay up a little bit later so I don't keep waking up in the middle of the night. So we're trying some new medical things. But Wednesday I should have a show of some kind. So we'll see what happens then. It is going to be so good for me to get out of here. This place is so stressful to me. Not just the place I live, but Virginia, this Virginia in general. I'm just not cut out for this place. This is the second time I've lived here, and I like it even less now than I did the first time. And I know for a fact how much I like Michigan. So I'm really excited to be going back to Michigan. I have plenty of things to do that don't cost me a lot of money. I have a lot of friends. I have a whole different lifestyle there that I'm sure, plus better medical care. So, on that note, I'm gonna tell y'all to go visit somebody. Oh, one more quick thing. Um, I heard from Mikey's mom today, and she's still, having a hard time adjusting, and I totally understand that. But she's doing okay considering. So, and she said that if you have sent her a card or something, she has finally gotten started on answering all those. And so if you sent her a card, you will eventually hear from Patty. She's just moving a little slow right now. So I appreciate everybody being here. Sorry we didn't have any coins tonight. But we had a couple of nice, good Samaritans that came and rescued me in my car. So it was, and got a donation. So I'm happy. So I'm going to go do my little things, and I'm going to bed. And I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Thanks for being here. Please hit the like and subscribe and the share. And you can hit Sunny too if you want to. I guess it's supposed to have some effect on the algorithms or the alcoholics or the Al Gores or the Al something or others. So if y'all do that for me, I'd appreciate it. It would be like the most awesome thing in the world if the one good thing I could do while I'm in Virginia would be to monetize this channel, take the money and run. Good night, everybody.